Okay, this is my video on butterfly gardening in Southern California, San Diego County in particular. First I'm going to talk about the big three food plants. The first one is milkweed. Of course, this is a tropical milkweed. That's the food plant for the monarch. Not a great year for the weed or the butterflies for us. There's a little bit bigger plant over here. They come in a couple colors. This is the one that's all yellow. And there's versions that are yellow and orange. Okay, I have one over here. It's actually hiding in the next plant. That's the yellow and orange form. So the next plant is the incense passion flower. Definitely get that variety. Butterflies love it, prefer it very much over any other passion flower, which I have 6 growing. And that attracts the fritillary. And then the third plant, it's unfortunate all the butterflies have disappeared for the video. A little bit too warm. The third plant is senna. It's popcorn senna. And this, I believe, is bicapsularis, which I've trimmed a little bit too much, and it doesn't like being trimmed, so I don't get that many flowers. In fact, I took one and I transferred it to the back corner so to have more flowers. When they're flowering, it really attracts the yellow sulfurs, and they like to lay their eggs. You can see one doing it right there. They like to lay their eggs on the flowers or the flower buds, and the caterpillars, while they're eating the flowers, are yellow, and then when they run out of flowers and they start eating the leaves, the caterpillars then turn green. So those are the big three: the milkweed for the monarchs, and the passion flower incense for the fritillaries, and the sennas for the yellow sulfurs. And there's some minor food plants. Over here is pipevine. I have a veined pipevine, which is not liking the heat. And you can see underneath it, actually, there's another plant there. That's a Watson pipevine, which is fine with the heat. There's another couple leaves popping up. I'm trying to get these established. It's a beautiful butterfly, the big blue pipevine swallowtail. The veined pipevine really prefers a shade, and I have a better plant back here in the corner. That's that bicapsularis. That's the veined pipevine, prefers a shade. It's kind of a ground cover. There are also vining forms of it, of pipevine, vining species of pipevine. And so that's one of the minors. This is a white form of the plumbago, and that attracts the marine blue butterfly. It's a little tiny butterfly from, I think, LA County or Orange County. So we do see that butterfly make us visits. And then lastly, not lastly, actually, there's 2 more. This up here is a caper. You can see the flower. There's a really nice little white flower with kind of purple tips on the stamens. And that attracts the cabbage white, which you see a little bit. And then, of course, citrus attracts the giant swallowtails. And that's pretty much any citrus. That's a finger lime and a key lime and a kumquat. We do see those visiting from time to time. Okay, then as far as nectar plants, this is Buddleia, which is actually not a huge favorite here. The 2 big favorites, I would say, are the sky flower. There's this bush over here. It's really a pretty bush. This is, again, a white form. They usually come in blue and white. And then the other favorite in my yard are the pentas, which I love because they're super easy to propagate. This one gets about 4 feet high, red, bright red. This is a dwarf form over here. They stay about this size, about 1 foot tall. This is kind of a sprawling white form of it. Those are well liked and very easy to propagate. That's lantana. course, and that gets its visits. Coneflowers, this is the first year I have coneflowers. I planted one kind of last minute last year, and these are coming up volunteer. In principle, that should have a lot of visitors, but I don't really know yet. And then the other thing is any form of sunflower, pretty much. This is a dwarf form of the Mexican sunflower. Normally these get about 10 feet tall. I planted that from seed 4 years ago, and it comes up in one spot or another every year. Over here I have this is a vining form sunflower, kind of past its prime in terms of flowering, but that's a neat one that's been climbing up that trellis. You can see the fertility almost paid it a visit. What else? Not too much else to say. I mean, one of the things to know in Southern California is that you get all your butterflies in midday, and in the evening it's mostly hummingbirds, not so much butterflies, but they like the same plants. So it's really nice to just kind of sit and watch the show. And then in terms of plants that I would really like to try, but I have not yet, well, Ceanothus, I have had it in the ground, and then it got way too big, so I got rid of it. I've tried some other smaller forms, but those haven't worked. And then there's a tree form of milkweed, which I'd really like to try. And then I mentioned the issue with the flowering of the sennas in the front there, and I'm trying to replace those with a desert senna, which should be a little bit smaller and should still like the climate. Now you can see a little bit of the show, butterflies around, just visiting the starflower. So anyways, that's it. Enjoy.